Hello, everyone. Welcome to Royal Black in Elite. I'm Lady Trenette Wilson. I'm so glad you could join me for today's lecture on the health crisis in bodybuilding. Now, if you saw the movie Magazine Dreams with Jonathan Majors, and if you have not seen that movie, you have got to go see that movie because it is wonderful. He played a bodybuilder named Killian Maddox, and he really played the mess out of this role, you all. He was mentally ill, but it really showed the stress that bodybuilders suffer and the pressure that they feel to be the best of the business. I mean, look at them. They're massive muscles. The physique is off the chain. But over several years, the bodybuilding community has been forced to confront a very uncomfortable question. Why are so many of them passing at young ages? Now, in 2026, we've already started having bodybuilders pass away. Mailson Araújo Santos, he passed away at only 35 years old. He had just posted some photographs of himself in a gym, and he was getting ready for a competition. Then Dwayne King Q Quamina, he passed away at 40, and this was in August. And these are not isolated incidences. These are happening repeatedly more and more. So I wanted to take a look at it because, here we talk about the elite black, diaspora. And I think it's important because these men are elite. I mean, look at their bodies. You have to be so very disciplined, not only in your eating, but in your, exercising, in your mentality. But these men are having problems. Now, many of them, and a lot of them, and they admit it, they take performing enhancing substances. They also are having cardiovascular health problems, and they are also extreme bodybuilding. So I wanted to talk about things. I hope that you all enjoyed. Thank you all. Y'all hit that like, share, and subscribe, and you all share this. If you know anyone who is doing any bodybuilding or any extreme weightlifting, you've got to check this out. Now, I want to give some honor to those who came before. People like Chris Dickerson. He was the first African-American who was Mr. America in 1970. Albert Beckles. He was also very, very popular. He was known as the ageless one. I mean, look at him. And also Bill Grant. These men, and he was very prominent during the time of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, a lot of times we don't know these men personally. We don't hear about them, but these are extreme athletes. Put a like down below for all of these if you ever heard of any of these men. These men died at very ripe old ages, 95 years old. Dickerson passed at 82 years old, and they passed from not natural, both of them passed of heart disease, but it was years after their competition. I mean, goodness, 85 and, 82 and 95. So it was well past the time of their prime. So that lets you know that they were doing it naturally. They were taking care of their health. And it wasn't an explosion of what we see now with these PEDs. Now, PEDs are performance-enhancing substances. And I'm saying substances instead of the other word, but you know what I'm saying. One of the passings that shocked the bodybuilding world that was recent is Shawn Rhoden. Now, he was born in Jamaica, and Rhoden achieved bodybuilding ultimate prize when he defeated 7-time champion Phil Heath, and he became Mr. Olympia in 2018. But only 3 years later, Mr. Rhoden had passed away. Now, he was only 46 years old, and he passed away in 2021. It was from a sudden heart attack. Now, in that same decade, we also lost Cedric McMillan. Now, McMillan wasn't only an IFBB professional, but he was also a United States Army instructor and the winner of the prestigious 2017 Arnold Classic. Now, Cedric was known for something increasingly rare in modern bodybuilding. He didn't look as top heavy as some of these men today. Some of them, they look top heavy with little bitty skinny legs, but he was proportionate, and he looked like more of the men back in the golden era. Now, he passed at only 44 in April of 22, and he too passed of a heart attack. So these PEDs are having a great effect on the heart. That's why they don't want boys taking it to play football, to run track, to do anything, because these have long-term effects. Now, not all of these men have been found, to have passed away from that. Some of them passed away from the heart disease. But a lot of the medical professionals allegedly say it is linked back to the PEDs. These men often will do anything to win this award. Now, in July of this year of 2026, Mailson Santos also, he suddenly passed away from medical emergency there in Brazil. He was only 35 years old. His mom tried to help him, but there was no coming back. So these people are passing in their 30s and in their 40s because after years of using this medicine, this is what's happening to them. Now, in 2025, researchers, they published a really large study of over 20,000 athletes. And these are people who competed in the IFBB events between 2005 and 2020. These researchers identified 121 people who had passed away. 73 were considered sudden passings, and 46 were classified as sudden cardiac passings. Perhaps most disturbing was the age. Again, the average age was 35 years old. Professional bodybuilders were found to have more than 5 times the risk of sudden cardiac passing compared to amateur competitors. And when the autopsies were done, they were found that these patients had enlarged hearts and thickening ventricular walls. That didn't mean that bodybuilding itself caused the passing, but most of these numbers, y'all, are really alarming and they're hard to ignore. Now, are PEDs having something to do with this, y'all? This is the elephant in the room. Anabolic steroids, they can dramatically increase muscle mass, and it can improve recovery and performance. This is why they take them. But the muscle is not the only tissue that it affects. Long-term steroid abuse will cause high blood pressure, unhealthy cholesterol changes, thickening of the heart muscle, blood clots, accelerated atherosclerosis, heart attacks, heart failure, and potentially fatal arrhythmias. Now, that is why it is so important that we have this discussion. All this time, they don't understand that their heart is changing. Now, just recently in 2021, Cali Muscle, his real name is Chuck Kirkendall, he also suffered a heart attack. Now, this was his second one, but he himself admitted that he had been using PEDs. In 2026, Cali revealed that after collapsing during a gym incident, he had suffered another heart attack. He spent 3 days in a medically induced coma, and he had to receive additional stents and have a defibrillator implanted. Guys, this is not worth it. Your heart cannot handle these PEDs, especially if you also have a history of heart disease in your family. Now, when we look at these photographs of Chris Dickerson, Albert Beckles, they look good. Now, you look at these bodybuilders, these open bodybuilders, these extreme ones. Modern bodybuilding rewards extraordinary size, extreme muscular, and incredibly low levels of body fat. But at what cost? Now, I want you to know this is an attack. I love the bodies. They are beautiful. And as I said, you have to be so disciplined to do something like this. However, it is so important that you do not take PEDs so that you will not suffer at the end of your life. And not only that, but these men are passing. They have wives and they have children. So I want to know down below, how many of you are bodybuilders? Tell me, do you do any weightlifting? Also, how did you know any of these names? I thought we should really honor them and bring them out. It's important that we don't let the world forget about these important people throughout our history, but we also don't want to forget to warn people how important it is to take care of their body and the risk of PEDs during bodybuilding. So I want to thank you all for joining me for another great episode of Royal Black and Elite. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe. And y'all continue to click down below to continue learning. I want to thank you all for sharing a part of your day with me.